Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, January 11th. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosa, and welcome to the Victoria Real Estate Show with...
Hey everybody, it's Andrew Plank with the Royal LePage and the Vibe Real Estate Group. And good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm awake. I'm alive. Those are two good things to have in the day. And yeah, I'm excited. I've got showings right after this, and then my my partner has a massage therapist that is kind of been lowering her hours, and she anyway, I got a cancellation, so I get to go in and get a massage today, which I haven't had a massage in like months and months and months. Yay!
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So part of my New Year's resolutions have been to start working out. I'm going to the Tropus Fitness Center on Blanchard, 1601 Blanchard, and they kick my butt big time.
It's hard to get started, but you're a really active person. I mean, you do a lot of, I mean, don't you do paddling?
You think so?
I thought you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Fitness is very specific. So this is weight training, which I used to do a lot of. So last week I had lactic acid build up all day for about 4 or 5 days. I'd be walking around with my clients, like trying to go up the stairs. Oh, it's brutal.
It is really hard. I played volleyball with some friends for the first time in years. I keep saying volleyball, and people are like, volleyball? I'm like, no, volleyball. It's different. But for the first time in years, just around Christmas time, and I was sore for a week and couldn't hardly move. And then played again last week, and it was great. Sore for just a few days, and I'm playing again tonight. So we're playing every Thursday now. Super fun game. And as you know, we're playing pickleball now too.
Well, so I have 3 trainers, one for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each. And I guess when I say, okay, I didn't hurt enough or I didn't hurt, they decided they've bumped it up. So
interesting.
I went for number 4 yesterday, and now my core's.
You know, for years I tried on and off going to every time I'd ever gone to the gym with a friend or something and work out, and I'd just be so sore. I got a personal trainer one time, and they kicked my butt, and I was sore for a week. I could hardly move my legs, my arms. It wasn't worth it, because I had the belief that that's what working out is all the time. I didn't realize that you can get past that. And also, my current personal trainer has been great at not pushing it beyond the scope. Like once you do get to a point, you don't get that lactic acid buildup. Your body flushes it, I guess, better. But with this personal trainer and this program I've been on, I've had growth. I've had increases in muscle. I feel way better in my body, but I haven't had that, oh my God, I can't move. I can't function, which I thought that's how it was. So
I just needed a good night's sleep.
Yeah, that helps too, eh? That helps too. So how is it you have 3, before we go into, I know we've got the show to get started on, but how is it you have 3 different personal trainers?
Well, I go to this program. It's at the same time on 3 different days. So depending on what their work is. So I have one on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I thought the Wednesday one was going to be the easy one, but she kicked my butt.
This is a funny, weird story, but I do go to the gym with my personal trainer. We're going in. I'm doing once a month now. It was a couple times a week. Now it's just once a month for a checkup, and otherwise he gives me programs for home workouts. But going to be going away soon, and I was looking for tanning salons so I could get a base tan before I go, because we're going somewhere warm. And so I did a search for tanning salons, and I actually found that the company Fit for Less, which is located right beside the Pemberton Homes, our old brokerage, has a tanning bed, and their program for just membership is really cheap. So I went there, got a tour yesterday, and I actually signed up because they have it's like $15 every 2 weeks for membership, and you get free access to the tanning bed. Plus they have hydro massage and massage chairs, and then a whole huge gym. It's actually, I'll give you a free tour. Go check it out. It's a really cool setup. But that's the $15 a month is their, sorry, $50 every 2 weeks is their premium package, and you can share the card with friends and family. So it's more of a, it's a really, really good value.
So you can this will be your place that you're going to go to sleep in between showings in the massage chair.
Exactly. It's exactly what they did.
Okay, let's get to the program, man.
Yeah.
All right. So it is Thursday, January 11th, 2024. We're talking about BC assessment if it's related to your property value, which is a common misconception. Take it away, Andrew.
Well, spoiler there. We're going to be talking about whether it's connected, and you just said it's not because it's a misconception. And so now everyone is like, okay, good. I've seen this. We'll talk about why. Oh,
Okay.
okay. So today is January 11th. There are 230 new listings that have come on in the last week. 49 properties went pending. 52 property price decreases, 3 price increases, 6 properties back on market. 72 properties contracted between lawyers and mortgage companies and all that stuff at Land Title Office. 45 properties expired, so we're still seeing expiries, and 4 properties were withdrawn. Compared to the week before, that was a pretty quiet week.
We're up.
We're up for sure. 42 new listings in a week as of January 4th, the week before, but of course that was over the new year and the holidays and stuff. I don't know about you, but I'm finding new year, new attitude, I guess. Suddenly, people are reaching out for showings. I had a really busy day the other day where I hadn't anticipated being that busy, but suddenly I had showings that I was doing for people calling about my listing. So I was getting some people through my listing, that listing that same day, which had been on market last year, expired, and we reposted it last week. That same listing got 3 offers. I was out with other clients showing other properties, and yeah, things are just feeling like they're really starting to ramp up, moving towards a vibrant spring.
Yep. Don't forget, you guys, you realtors, we have to fill out the disclosure of multiple offers to all the agents now. So
Yeah, so that's right. So we did fill that out. So we had, as I said, 3 offers. So my client initialed and acknowledged that she'd received and reviewed 3 offers, and I did have one of those agents. We just have to submit it to our brokerage, or do we have to actually submit it to all the agents that wrote offers as well?
I submitted it to all the agents. I mean, I think it's better to have a open communication there. You don't have to submit it concurrently. You can do it after, but
Yeah. I had one of the agents ask for it, and I did send it over to them. But I thought it was just our brokerage that needs it for in case there's an inquiry.
yeah.
But yeah, it's all good. For transparency is good in this business.
And I have been asked before if there's been more than one offer, and I'm like, sure, here's our folder. 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Month to date, we have
And
32.
just going back to that, folks, for those who are not realtors and watching, we don't disclose what the offer prices were, who the buyers were, any of that. It's just the brokerage and an acknowledgement that we received and reviewed an offer from that brokerage. I included the agent names as well, just because for record keeping, but there's no personal information or money information shared.
I'm not putting the agent's name because I don't want the other agent to go back to that agent. Just
Interesting.
Anyway. Okay, so Monday, January 28th, there's 32 net unconditional sales. That's compared to 278 for the month of January in 2023. We're at 187 new listings for the first 8 days in January. That's compared to 805 in January of 2023. And those are up like it was 805 for the month of January in 2023 compared to sorry, I'm comparing it to December of 2022.
Yeah, you are.
361. So, it's funny. You don't force the market. When I first got into real estate, I was like, okay, I'm going to do an open house. It's like Mother's Day. I'm going to do an open house, Father's Day, and whatever. Now I'm kind of like, this is the way. I'm really trying to be intuitive about how the market's vibing, and making sure that I'm in tune with the market. So then I know, for instance, I'm going to be waiting a lot till January 25th for the next rate announcement before I start pricing properties, honestly.
Yeah, it's knowing where to tap, knowing where to put your energy. There's a lot of stuff that's done in this industry that is extraneous. Sometimes it's for show for our clients, and so be it. Sometimes it's because we think we should be doing things because we don't have anything else to do on that particular day. But there are definitely times when you put your shoulder to the wheel and it will pay you back tenfold. There are other times when you put your shoulder to the wheel and you'll still get some chance of doing business, but it's a lot more effort for your return. And so doing an open house on a long weekend, I found doesn't really pay back very well. Found that doing, trying to do a lot of business in the winter months when things just are typically slow. If you're going to put that same energy into the spring market, you're going to get a lot more return. There's certainly things that you can do that are different types of activities that work at different times of year. But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that we do that is really just to make it look like we're busy.
So while you don't want to do an open house on a weekend, long weekend, I do suggest writing offers because everyone else is away.
Sure. And if you have active buyers and there's a property that's listed that should be shown because nobody else might be viewing it, and you can get your client through, get an offer in place, and tie it up. But that's around strategic, laser focused, individual stuff. But as a grouse kind of overarching pattern, there are certain times where you just know that that's not going to be as effective as other times.
Okay, we're going to get through this because we have to do assessment and Andrew has to leave in 17 minutes. Okay, active listings for January so far, 2008, and that is up from January 2023, which was at 1739. So we're in a healthy market. We're moving towards balance as we talked last week.
And I just want to point out that 187 for the new listings as of January 8th. That's 1 week in to this month, times 4 weeks or so. We end up round figure around 800, and I do expect the new listings will be more and more every week. So we'll probably beat that 805 number by the end of this month. So I do expect that this number shows us a pretty good indication of the things are going to be busier than 2023, which was not a bad year.
2023 was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, BC assessment, everyone's been getting it in their mail. So what is it? It is a way to determine the funding for local taxes. The BC assessment is an independent corporation. It hires and trains its own assessors. And what it does, or why it was created, was to help municipalities determine the tax base for their mill rate and revenue. And it also...
Yeah, in other words, the assumption is that everyone pays a proportionate share of based on what they own or what their investment is in the community towards the upkeep of that community. If you own a really expensive home, you're going to be paying a more proportionate share for the taxes than if you don't. But your property taxes go towards things like road improvements and sewer lines and the various things that a municipality does to help improve the city, sidewalks, those kind of things.
Snow cleaning.
Snow
and
cleaning.
All of that.
Yeah, that's pertinent and timely.
Yeah. So a lot of people, when they get their assessment notice, even I do this, you go, oh, this is what the government thinks. It's not the government, it's BC assessment. This is what they think my property is worth. And then I look and I realize, oh, there may be some errors in here, like they don't have all the bathrooms and that part of the property was finished. And so what do you do when that happens? So first of all, let's just figure out how they determine the value. So they do go to the municipality and they see what permits have been pulled. They go to land titles. They see if there's been any changes to the title. They also are looking at the real estate listings and looking at the finishings.
They're going to be looking at past sales as a really strong weight towards how they metric these things.
Yeah, and so you'll see that in especially new construction. That's a very good indicator, and it's actually close in that case to the property value because the sale and it's new construction, there hasn't been any changes, and it's within the last 6 months. So they don't need to do an on-site visit. They've got all the information online. They also are looking.
I've never heard of an on-site visit. I mean, I know that they do it periodically, but I don't know anyone who's ever experienced an on-site visit from a BC assessor. These are, folks, these are really just desktop assessments for the most part. 99.9% of them are people pulling up data from their computer, looking it up, and trying to come up with a value of your home from the desktop model. So it isn't accurate. That's the major takeaway I want everyone to understand is it's not an accurate reflection of the value of your home.
Right. So, and the other one in here is owner reporting. So they do send out a survey to different areas asking owners to update the information on their property. And whether or not the owner does that accurately is up to them. And then apparently in Vancouver, they do have a 3D modeling. I don't know what exactly that is, but information is available on the link that I've just provided here about understanding the assessment process, just so you understand this is how the data is collected. And then what they do is they calculate the assessment as well. They look at rezoning. So just thinking this year that there's been a lot of increase in value in property because the provincial government has said that there's more room for development and densification. And so they're looking at that and saying, well, whereas before maybe they could put one house, maybe they could put two houses on that, or they could put an extra laneway home or garden suite in the back. These are all important to the BC assessment.
Your property is worth what, not just what the base physical property is, but also what its future potential is as well. That can impact its value. So these are things that you do want to take into account. But these assessments are based on a certain time of year, and so they're sort of limiting that to that certain time of year, and they're definitely not. They're really just intended for the tax purposes. So they're not something we can rely on to do a calculation on your own personal value. And the other thing is too, and Jane was alluding to this, they don't have access to seeing inside your home unless they've seen a recent sale. So they may not know that you've upgraded your kitchen, that you've done an addition. If you pull permits, they'll have that as records. But if they didn't, they won't have that information. So overall, your property value, assessed value, and your actual property value will be different.
And so what a lot of my clients like to do is go through and they go, well, the assessed values are all here and all the sales are here. And so there's a differential of like 10 or 20%. And so then they look at that and I'm like, I don't even get how that works because I get a little sarcastic, but when you have an appraisal done of your house, the appraisal is valid for maybe 30 to 60 days. And this is based on somebody who hasn't seen your property last year. So right now we're 6 to maybe even 8. It's average between April and October. So for July 1st. So it could be as much as 8 months out and they haven't seen your property. So it has nothing to do with your market value, but it is a good indicator if you want like a big ballpark.
It's a broad stroke.
It's a broad stroke.
And so we've seen on average the assessed values for 2020, these 2024 assessments are a little lower than the 2023 assessments on average. And then on average, we know that values have slightly come down since that date of July 1st. So on average, properties are probably worth overall less than the assessed values. But you can look at that with a broad brush and make that statement, but you can't look at an individual property and say, okay, average house values are 10% lower than assessed values or 5% above assessed values, whatever the average is. You can't say that and then apply that to your own individual house. It doesn't work. But we find that buyers often do that. Buyers looking at homes will say, and I just had that question the other day. Why is this home listed way above assessed value when the house next door is listed, at assessed value, and this other one is this? And how did they come up with their pricing versus assessed value? And I just always caution people to throw out the assessed value. It's a red herring. Don't look at that. Look at what else is selling comparable. We'll do our own assessment. It won't be an armchair desktop assessment. It'll be based on the actual property that we're evaluating, and we will do our best to come up with a value that is more focused on establishing a value for that particular property.
I just had a good what's it called, metaphor, alliteration. I don't know, whatever. If you look at tides and how they go up and down the beach, and so they're going in and out, and this is house values and assessments like here. But let's say this is a nicer part of the beach, or this is like really rocky part of the beach. They're going to it's going to change based where you are on the coast, and at what point is the assessment going to happen. You're either going to be on the ebb or flow. And I would say probably the best indicator where assessment might be true is condos, because they generally are of the same fit and finish. They're in the same location, but houses can vary widely. And so you can have two houses. One has had extensive updates and renovations, but they haven't had to pull permits. And the other one's had nothing done. And if they sell first, they're just going to bring the value down. So depending on which house sells first or which condo sells first, it can bring the value up or down.
Yep. True. Yes.
Okay. I'm off my soapbox.
Okay. Your image of the tides and all. I mean, I used to do photography, and I like if you've ever seen a photo that's done on a time lapse or like a long exposure, where let's say it's a picture of a stream or the ocean. If you do a long exposure to the ocean, let's say you take the picture for an hour and you leave the shutter open for an hour, or let's say it's even longer, so you can get the whole tides coming in and going out. You're going to get just a smooth overall, beautiful, smooth, kind of clean image. And that's kind of what these BC assessments do. They kind of average out and try to look at the big picture and then filter it all down to make it an averaged out kind of event. Now, we're getting kind of technical with our
metaphor is the word I was looking for.
Thank you. The other thing to say, folks, is these BC assessments, your value could go up, but your taxes could go down. Your value could go down and your taxes could go up. It really depends on what the municipality is budgeting and requiring for the coming year. So you're going to just pay your proportionate share. If there were 5 towns in a municipality and 4 of them were 5 houses in a municipality, and one of them was worth $1 million and the rest were worth $500,000, that one worth $1 million is going to pay a higher proportionate share of taxes. But if the municipality just needs, $1,000 in taxes a year, if the next year they need less, you're going to be paying less. The next year they need more, you're going to be paying more. It doesn't really, right. Your assessed value is not an indication necessarily that you're paying more or less. If everybody's value goes up, you're still probably paying the same amount of taxes.
Right, which is true, because when I look at the taxes we've paid since we bought the house 12 years ago and now, our taxes haven't changed significantly, but the value has gone up. So they're just, what they're using BC assessment to do is determine what the mill rate is of everybody's property, how much money they need, divide it between all the properties and the valuations, and then they get their number. But what if you don't like your number?
Yeah.
You can
Then
appeal. And some people are strategic. If they know they're going to be selling and they want to appeal and bring it up, they'll do that because they do believe that buyers do look at that information, and buyers do look at that information. And so people can, oh my God, my dog.
it's,
People can,
it's absolutely true, Jane. Like, people do look at these things. They look at the assessed value. And as much as we say it doesn't actually affect value, it does affect. If a buyer believes it affects value, it will affect value. That buyer may not be willing to pay $200,000 above assessed value, even though they're realtor and we can do an evaluation and say that that's still a good deal for that home. But they might say, I don't want to spend that above assessed value. I don't believe that. So they won't be the buyer for that home. So it
right.
can help to have your property reassessed if it is a really low assessment.
And especially if it's a property where when you initially built it, you didn't finish off the basement or something, you've doubled your square footage now. And maybe the municipality isn't aware of you doing that. All you've done is add drywall. So that this is a case where you will get more bang for your buck, so to speak.
Yeah. And so the reasons for reassessing or for asking for an appeal could be that you plan to sell your home and you want to have the assessment reflect a higher number. The other reason, obviously, is you don't want to pay as much taxes, or you don't want to overpay on taxes. And if the BC assessors have assessed your property at a value that is higher than it should be, then you're paying more proportionate taxes than your neighbors. So there's a really strong argument for going for an appeal on that. And that's I think the more realistic reason for going for an appeal.
Right. So the appeal is you have to file it. So you have 20 days from now till the 31st. And then there is a panel that will review them. And if you really don't like what they decide, you can then file for a second appeal. And the process is in the link that we have provided. So, and that is then decided before the July 1st, obviously. And so then it's retroactive and it'll determine what your taxes are going to be for this year.
Our office puts out a tax fighter's guide. I haven't seen this year's copy of it, but it goes through a lot of the frequently asked questions and advice and thoughts around this stuff. So folks, if you are interested in that tax fighter's guide, reach out to myself or Jane. Jane, I can get your copy.
Awesome.
We'll be able to share that with you as well.
All right. So because Andrew is leaving in a minute, we're not going to go over our needs and wants. Next week, we're going to be having a realtor from Puerto Vallarta coming to talk to us. He's going to talk about what the market's like there. How do you buy a home? Can you buy a home as a Canadian citizen? What do you need to do to purchase property? Where can you purchase property? Because there are different rules around there. And what type of funding and stuff you need to buy if you're going to Mexico. If you do like, go ahead.
I'm just saying it should be pretty interesting to hear from a colleague in a different country and understand how things are done and price points and so forth. There's a lot of differences from sector to sector. So yeah, should be cool.
Yeah, and he's in Puerto Vallarta, but he's actually from the interior of BC. He's a Canadian citizen who moved down and got into real estate. He was in the building field. So
this won't be a pitch, I'm sure, folks.
Anyway, if you like the program, please like us on YouTube or go to our show channel, which is the Victoria Real Estate Show. And don't forget to subscribe, to follow us. Please, we love it when you comment or like us. And if you know anybody who needs this information, please share it out to them so that we can inform them on how to improve their real estate position. All right, so we're going to see you next Thursday at 9:30. Andrew, anything you want to say? How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, reach out. 250-360-6106 is the email. Sorry, it's the phone or text. Email is info@andrewplank.com, and the website andrewplank.com. Simple, folks. It's really simple. It's my name all through there. And Instagram, Plank Andrew.
Thank you, Meredith. Have a great weekend. And if you guys want to reach me, my name is Jane Johnston. I'm with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun. My number is 250-744-0775. My email is briarhillgroup@gmail.com. You can go to my website at briarhillgroup.com. And if you want to see these shows and more, please go to victoriarealestateshow.com. And don't forget to follow us about lifestyle in Victoria at realtyteacher_Remax Victoria. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend. Happy birthday, Meredith.
Hey, well done. Happy birthday, Meredith.
All right. See you guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jane.
You're welcome.